Hello everybody, it is I, Archangel, and today's video is, well, it was a bit delayed. I will say that. So, sorry about that. I've been busy with some stuff, but that doesn't matter. Right now, first off, you guys will obviously recognize this case. It is from the Dusty PC build. We all know that one. That is now the highest, or most viewed, YouTube video, by the way. But, yeah. The case was still a little dirty. I cleaned it all up, and I gotta talk about it a little bit. So I made a low budget build. Like, it cost more than the $100 gaming PC, but technically, if I sold all the parts online, but I did get some of the parts in, like, for free in bundles. Like, when I got the new motherboard for the Dusty PC, I got a free i3 2120. And my old, what was it called? My backup computer, that one, I took all the parts out of that, and I put it in my locker, and I took the motherboard from it, and I put it into this. So, clean up the case, the original power button obviously doesn't work, neither does the reset button. I ripped out the USB ports in the front because that's proprietary stuff, because the motherboard is, well, whack. Really quick, the power button is on the side. Right here is the original Optiplex power button because I didn't know how else to get it working and I'm too lazy to pay for an adapter. So I used some hot glue and I made this monstrosity. No, I don't want to. Crap. So yeah, it's jank. So here we have a 250 gigabyte hard drive at 7200 RPM. We have the i3 2120. It has a little cooler on it, like a blower style kind of cooler. It shoots air out the back. So I don't need to worry about any case fans because the case did not come with any. And it's a pretty low TDP, like CPU. It doesn't use a lot of power. It's not, it's not very and it's not very power hungry or whatever. It's, I guess, kind of power efficient. I did just hot glue the power button there, but I tested it a couple times, dust turned on the computer and everything. We have 8 gigs of RAM. I forgot the speed because I did not check, and I never remember to check until after I'm recording. So, gotta love that. Anyways, we also have a GTX 645. So this is basically a GTX 650, but this is the, it's an OEM model. I can't remember if it's HP or Dell that has like this one, but it's a little kind of blower style looking graphic card, and it only draws power from the motherboard, so it's not a pain in the butt. You don't need an external like power supply plug-in, which made the build cheaper because then I could keep my 430 watt power supply for another project, the Minecraft server PC, and that will be soon. And then we have the original power supply either for this one or for another Optiplex. It is, crap, what was it again? It's either 250 watts or it's 350 watts. It's not too much, but, and I had to hot glue it like here, like, I put hot glue around it everywhere because hot glue doesn't melt that quick. It has to be like, unless the hot glue is touching the CPU cooler, it's not gonna melt. And it's like, that's in there securely. Like, there's a piece of metal that's supposed to hold a normal power supply in there. I bent that down, put the power supply and lifted it up, put it on top of the power supply and hot glued it. So that power supply is not sliding anywhere. I got 2 extra SATA cables. This does have a DVD drive. And yeah, there's nothing else to talk about. There's the crappy OEM Dell motherboard from a, what is it? Mini Tower? Not Mini Tower, no. It's either a DT or an SFF from a Optiplex like 9, what is it again? I can't remember. It's some from one Optiplex. It's like a 970 or 960 or something like that. Whatever it is. It's a second gen Optiplex inside of a new case. And we do have, so the case has been like battered and abused and everything, but it's still in like overall great condition. It's just that here, it's like messed up. The back of the power supply where it would be, the metal's kind of pushing outward a little bit. And on the left side, the back panel here, that has been indented with the screw, so I cannot put a screw there. So I have just only one of them holding the side panel, the back side panel, on. But there is no, besides that, the cooling's been pretty good so far. And I've tested games, and speaking of testing games, we get to check that out now. So let's head to the benchmarks. Woo! So real quick, we have a, what is this? A Dell monitor. I don't know exactly what it is, but its resolution is like, I can't exactly remember what it is, but it's around like, it's 1050p, not 1080p, and it is only has a VGA and a DVI connection. So a DVI connection. I don't recall which one exactly. So we're hooking up the GTX 645 with the monitor through that DVI connection. Now the graphic card does have an HDMI connection, but this will also be going to a friend of mine who, she is paying for it, though, paying for the computer, for how much I paid for, like, because I only bought the graphic card and the hard drive technically. Everything else I got pretty much for free or I just had lying around, so I'm not going to charge her for that. And the monitor I got for free from my friend, or another one of my friends, so I'm going to give these to her for as cheap as possible. Monitor is free, that one at a huge discount. So, and it will be able to play all the games this friend wants to play. My friend wants to play like Skyrim, Minecraft, and yeah, they just talk about how they want to play Skyrim and Minecraft. So I built a computer that could play Skyrim, Minecraft. Oh, Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia is another game they wanted to play. So we're going to test 6 games, and I already know how it's going to go. We have, first we'll have Skyrim, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, Phasmophobia, Rocket League, Valorant, and we'll end it with Fortnite. So I'll see you when we get to it. So we can play Skyrim at, the monitor is a 1680 by 1050, and we can play the game on low settings. I'm just clarifying that now ahead of time. So Skyrim at low settings. Okay, here we go. So we have Skyrim playing at, 1680 by 1050p, and the FPS is hovering around 60 a lot of the time, most of the time. There is times that it goes, like when you're in the city, it'll drop to like 45 FPS, I believe. But like no matter what you do, where you go, it is going to be a relatively smooth experience. See, either way, that is Skyrim for you. So Skyrim is playable. On low settings, you get a very playable FPS. So this is the part where my audio, I realized that my brand new camera, I forgot to plug in the mic or whatever, and I realized that. So I plugged in this little mic that goes to the headset, or not the headset, the camera, and I forgot to turn on the mic on the camera. So the rest of the video is pretty much all without audio, but right here I'm showing that Rainbow Six Siege ran pretty smooth. I believe, 59 FPS? I can't even see it anymore because I'm too stupid to scroll up. But either way, you saw the FPS counter, that was the average. The VRAM is being strained. I'm surprised this was able to run at the 1600 by 900p, I believe is what I ran it at. All low settings. And then we got Phasmophobia right here. So Phasmophobia was a bit of a weird one. So right now I'm showing off the settings and stuff. I believe I had it on, I think it was like maxed out settings or something like that, or graphics. Okay, yeah, 1680 by 1050. Yeah, like shadow resolution's on high. There is, texture resolution high, or full, I mean. So then, it seems kind of smooth. It's like in the 70s or whatever. Right now I think it's our GPU. Yeah, our GPU is pretty strained right now at 99%. And it's the CPU that we probably could put more strain on. So, yep, and then this is where it gets more intensive. So when you're actually first loading, it is like very laggy at first, like the first minute and a half or minute or whatever. I'm not really able to move much. We went to 7 FPS. You don't get much slower than that besides crashing. So, but you know, it's like slow and laggy every time you load into a, you know, a Phasmophobia game. So, this is me struggling with the controls, trying to figure out how to use the flashlight, and then I say screw that, and then I decide I'm going to go out the door. Forgot I need to touch the keypad, so then I open the keypad, and that's when our frames go from like 70s to 60s to 40s. So like right now it's at like 60s or whatever, but as we get closer to the house it gets to the 50s and then it hits the 40s. So I didn't really test this game as much as I should. So at the highest would be like 70 FPS, like 75, and the lowest would, you know, it like the 0.1% lows technically. So like the little bit it does, like when it starts loading like a new match or whatever or game, it gets like really low, like 7 FPS. And then but overall that's pretty playable. So now we got Rocket League, and Rocket League is, it does have like a limiter. It's all on high settings or whatever, but it does have like a thing. Yeah, max FPS 62 FPS. So I honestly didn't realize that until later, but I could have possibly like maxed out the FPS to let the, you know, or make it unlimited so we could get the max performance or whatever. But either way, with or without limiting our FPS, we are getting a solid like slightly under 60 FPS most of the time, but almost all the time it is above 50 FPS. And we could always like add more strain to the CPU by lowering the graphics settings from high maybe to medium if we wanted to, and take off that cap. But you know, I actually forgot how fun this game was, and I got it for free because it was free on Epic Games a while ago. But either way, that is Rocket League, and it does play pretty well. And yeah, this whole match I struggled badly with the controls, despite using an Xbox controller. But Rocket League is playable. And then for the next game we have, Valorant, that's what it is. I believe it's 1680 by, well, you can see the stuff right there. I can't really see too well because I'm in my editing software, because recording David had to plug in his mic. So either way, Valorant runs pretty good, for the most part. Like, we're at 100 FPS and then it dips below 100 FPS. See, it went all the way to 80s, and I believe it goes to like 70 FPS somewhere. Overall, it's like pretty smooth, and the game looks pretty nice still. Valorant isn't a very hard game to run. It's just like CSGO. It's meant to run on a lot of computers, including little potato PCs. Yeah, see, because now we're like stayed over 100 FPS for a lot of that. And then this is the disaster that I call Fortnite. So we couldn't do the 1680 by 1050 resolution, so I dropped it to 1280 by, what was it, 600 or whatever, or 800. I can't remember to save my life. Either way, I'm too lazy to go back. Either way, yeah, it is not a playable experience. You will occasionally get like 50 FPS, 58 FPS, and then you'll get constant drops into like mid 30s, which, you know, it's annoying and it's really tough. So here I am trying to just look around because I heard somebody, and I turn around because I get shot, and I'm getting shot, and I lagged, and I luckily downed a dude, or shot at a guy, and then I thought I downed somebody, or do I down it later? Yeah, but yeah, this is not a playable experience. Yeah, so this is the guy I'm about to down. The only reason I got him is because, you know, he just wasn't paying attention to he didn't know where I was coming from. And I killed him right before I died, or got downed, and then I obviously